My name is Kelly Eichmeyer. I'm a program manager on the Intune team. And today I'm going to talk to you about specialized device deployments for Windows 10 with Microsoft Intune. So to set some context, today there are over 150 million devices worldwide that are managed by Intune and Config Manager, 700 million on Windows 10, and over a billion, like with a B, Azure AD identities, and this number is growing every day. So, I didn't know that was one of those slides. There we go. So, Intune and Config Manager provide a complete framework for managing your M365 endpoints in your environment, and it provides productivity, security, and simplicity. I'm going to focus on the simplicity part. So, we're going to take all of these different settings that we have in Intune today. We have a rich set of configuration settings and device settings and compliance and applications, and it can just kind of go on and on, like up to thousands of different ways to configure devices and put them out there. So at the same time, we've heard feedback that it can be confusing and difficult to find the right combinations of settings for a specific device. So we're introducing a new framework called Specialized Device Workflows. So what is it? It's a simplified Intune workflow for deploying and managing devices. We use these design principles to try and make it simple and easy to use, self-contained as much as possible, and reduce the number of clicks to get to the important info from beginning to end. The result is a fully functioning device at the end of this one workflow. So here's one example before I jump in and actually show you some live code. For a Windows 10 single app kiosk, we've combined the assignments, the applications, and all of the connectivity and security and the I did say connectivity already, settings into one. We've reduced it to basically 3 tabs, or 3 blades with 5 tabs. There's 15 clicks and you're done. That kiosk is up and running with a browser. And so that's very different from the 34 blades and the 74 clicks that we have to do in Intune today. Okay, so now we move to the demo. Ah, it worked. So this is the landing page for specialized devices. And this is where you would see the parent types. The ones that we have today are kiosks, and coming soon will be HoloLens and Android Kosu, and so on and so on. To start, you would create new. And here there are 2 different types of kiosks that are available in this deployment. One is a Windows 10 kiosk with only kiosk browser, and then a full description of what it will provide, and then a Windows 10 multi-app kiosk, and this is the one we're going to go through. It's a little more complex than the single app. So once you select Create New, you end up on this full page view. It has tabs across the top, basics, assignments, applications, and so forth, and then the details of what you need to fill in here. So we're going to make the Ignite Party kiosk, and I've already copied the description. So we're going to have a kiosk application with 3 apps. The weather app, the Universal Studios map in a kiosk browser, and then I'll test Win32 app just to show you that we can do that too. This asks about Windows 10s or Windows 10s or S mode. If you select yes, that you want to target S mode devices, then we will not let you choose Win32 apps. So that's kind of that. We are going to have a Win32 app in here, so I'll leave it as yes. The different types of logons that are available is auto logon, which is an AAD account behind the scenes. It is not something that the IT admin manages or creates themselves. It happens to work with assigned access, the CSP that kiosk mode it works with. And so it will just do the updates, function, allow kind of this guest access, but in a secure way. You can choose a local user account, which you would create on your kiosk and then enter in here, kind of like this, or you could pick a Azure AAD account, and you would select existing from the groups and users that you already have. And so there's a couple. So we're just going to leave it as auto log on for now. And then you can click next, or you can click on any of these tabs up here. They also serve as navigation. You don't have to go in order. And so here, this is the assignments. So what devices are we targeting? Where are our kiosks apps? So we're going to select existing, so find the device groups. And so here, this one is the one we're going to choose, and select that, and it adds it to the list. Moving on, this is the exciting part, the applications. So today, you have to upload your applications, which you'll still have to do. They have to be in your app inventory. They have to come from the store or from your own line of business applications. But here, you don't have to go create another profile for deploying that app. It all happens right in line, the selection and the configuration and the layout. So here, we're going to select existing, and we're going to pick the kiosk browser, and we're going to pick this Win32 app, and then down below, we're still working on the UX a little bit, so it'll probably be scrollable different. So this is real beta code, I'll tell you that much. And so we'll save and continue, and then they're added to the grid here. And then I'm also going to select one by AUMID. This is for targeting applications that are built into Windows, for the calculator, for Notepad. Here we're going to choose the Bing Weather app, and I have a link to that one. So this is the AUMID. So go back here. Oops. And enter that. When you do enter it, it even parses out the name from the AUMID so that you don't have to enter that in separately. And save and continue. So now you have these three applications. The settings column tells you right then and there if there's something else you need to do. So for the kiosk browser application, these are the settings. Since we're making a Universal Studios Ignite Party app, we're going to have the homepage be only this Universal Studios URL where the map is, so you can figure out how to get to the Harry Potter zone really quickly. We feel that's very important. So we'll enter that in here. And we can show or hide the home button or the navigation buttons. Let's refresh after 15 minutes. And then this section, we used to, in the kiosk profile, have an exemption. And today we've changed it a little bit to be easier to use. These are the allowed websites. So for a kiosk, what are the ones you want to let users go to? And then everything else is denied. At the default, of course, it's just wide open. You can go anywhere. And so that section, we will select a file. And I believe it's this one. So I've only said that the universal map allowed CSV, and then one row has been added. So that's the only web page you can go to on this kiosk. So we'll save and continue. And then this Orca application is a Win32 app. For Win32 apps, we need to know the local path for the executable. The reason for that is that it uses App Locker in the background in the assigned access CSP to be able to target and say which applications can run and which do not, because this is a kiosk and not a general user device. So I will go and get that, and that is here. Okay, and save and continue there. All right, so you think we're done, but not quite. The other nice thing about this app grid is that it allows you to move these and change the order and then change the tile size. So this is how it will show up on the kiosk itself. So we're going to make these a little bit different. and then we're going to move the kiosk browser down. And there we go. And then you can choose whether you want to see the Windows taskbar or not. Okay, and then moving on. Now we're into configuration. In this tab, to tell the truth, this is kind of our catch-all. Whatever else needs to be set up for a kiosk is going to go here. And so we have the connectivity. Ethernet requires nothing, you know, it's fine. If you choose Wi-Fi, it would ask you to go and select the Wi-Fi profile. To create new, although I said at the beginning we wanted to continue to keep everything in line, some of these things like VPN profiles and Wi-Fi profiles are a little more complex, and they're also what I call shared objects. They're used across the environment. So to create a new one, we would what I'm called kick you out into full Intune, where you would create your profile. Then you could return and then select existing. So we're not going to use Wi-Fi. We're going to pretend we're on Ethernet, and then the VPN, we're not using that today, but same thing as the Wi-Fi profile. All right, the next section, security settings. So we've gone back and forth on this a little bit, but there's a new announcement that's coming out in Intune called Security Baselines. These are recommended Microsoft settings that we think you should use for your different devices. So for this particular scenario, for a kiosk, we also have a list that we are recommending. And so with this, it's a toggle. It's either all on or all off. And that doesn't mean you can't go and create a separate security profile of your own and apply it to these devices. You could do that too. It's just that we wanted to try and make it simpler. View settings in the Intune documentation. If you were to click this, you would go to a web page like this, and it would be not this fake web page, but it will be filled in, I promise you. And then you could look at everything that we're recommending for this, and you could decide, will that work for me or not, or use that as a template to create your own security profile. Okay, so back here. Oops. Okay, and so we default this on by yes, and then we're done. And so this is the review and create blade. It lists everything that you've listed throughout this workflow, and then you would click save and deploy, and that would be it. The other button down here, save draft. We find that this is really important. So during that flow, maybe you don't have every single piece of information. And we would hate to run you through these 5 different tabs and then at the end be like, oh, I don't have that one thing. Well, we're going to have save draft, and then you will see a list of all of your deployments, those that have been deployed and those that are in draft, and you can come back later and then change them. So that is the end of this demo. And so I wanted to show you what it would look like at the end. So this is a kiosk that I created that was just with the same settings here. And so we have the Bing Weather app, and it tells us what the forecast is in Orlando today, if it comes up. Or not. I think the connectivity is part of the problem here. And then this is the Win32 app. This is the kiosk browser. And it has the universal link in there. And so I did have one failure in my demo. I didn't get the Wi-Fi set up for the kiosk. But anyway, that would show this. And if I tried to type in Disney or some other thing, it would just disallow. So we'll go back to here. Okay, so that is the end of the demo, and it does produce a kiosk at the other end of it. We expect to release the first specialized device deployments this winter. The first 2 will be the ones that I showed you, Windows 10 kiosk with only kiosk browser, a single app kiosk, and then Windows 10 multi-app kiosk. We have features coming. I talked about save drafts. We're going to also have edge support, autopilot, Windows Update for Business, and compliance integration. We haven't quite gotten those in. We kind of did a minimum viable release, and then we'll start adding on sections to it. And then also more deployment workflows. So not just Windows 10 kiosks, we're going to go into shared devices, Android kiosk, Android Kosu, HoloLens, later Surface Hub. And so there'll be these templates of configurations all in one, and then that's all you have to do. And so that's it for today. I want you to know that we are very committed to making Intune better and more simplified, and we are more than willing to take feedback and understand what you like and what you don't. These are other sessions that we recommend that are about this. The first one, of course, very important. That's the one where Ariel and myself will be talking about shared devices for kiosk and first-line workers with Windows 10. That's on Thursday. And then some other Intune sessions as well. And so are there any questions? Yeah. Sorry? The unified write filter, no, not at this time. There is no plan in the schedule as of now. Yes. Kiosk browser is based on Edge binaries wrapped. It's a simplified version. I would actually suggest using Kiosk browser now to like test things out, but Edge as of fall release, Windows 10 soon. No Internet Explorer. And so Edge will be supported, and I would suggest using that. Things like tabs and printing and some more user-friendly features will be available with Edge, and that isn't in Kiosk browser today.
Put in the application, you put in the package ID.
The AUM ID?
Right.
Yes.
That changes whenever you do a feature update.
It can. Well, it doesn't for Chrome, for instance. It's the same AUM ID each time. It's the app ID.
Like calculator, the Windows built-in app.
Yeah.
Those change every feature.
Yeah, okay. That's interesting. Yeah, you can totally, So let's say there is a change, no matter what the change is. Yes, you can correct it, make the change within the kiosk profile, and then what needs to happen on your kiosk device is you just sync it, or on the next 8-hour time schedule, it will catch it, and then the kiosk browser needs to hard restart. So that's the only thing about kiosks and assigned access. It needs a hard restart in order to pick those up. Yeah. The option to clear the cache. So with not in kiosk profile, it depends on what you're doing though. So the auto log on, whatever your end session time is, that's when things are erased for stuff within a kiosk. For a shared device, that's different. And that's where unified write filter and some of the other things, or a group policy, can help. It's kind of like building pieces. We haven't done that yet. But for auto log on with kiosks, just set the end session. Yes. 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 Any other questions? Yeah. Super hard to hear in here.
So Orca, for example,
Yeah.
needs admin rights to run.
Yeah.
How would the kiosk board have handled that? Does that kiosk user an admin and they can run that in their kiosk sandbox, or would it have denied them access to the application?
It asks, right now it asks for credentials.
So like a UAC prompt?
Right.
Okay.
It does a UAC prompt.
Any plans to do something around that? I'm just thinking of scenarios where we've got crappy applications that
I think the application, you'd need to use a Win32 that doesn't require admin. I was just making sure that it landed and installed, but yes. Anything else? Yeah. Sorry? Not here. I will cover Intune device licensing on Thursday at that session. I don't know about Office. I do know about Intune. Okay, anything else? Thank you.